What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Touchdowns to Home Runs. My name is Bernie. Thank you for joining us today on the Touchdowns to Home Runs show. Hope that your day is going absolutely fantastic. Today, we're going to be doing yet another NBA mock draft. I think this is our third of the year, but only our first post-draft lottery, so we got a lot to break down today. Today, we're going to be going through the first 10 picks, assuming there's no trades and the draft order stays the same. So it should be an exciting video, and if this is content that you do enjoy, make sure to let me know by smashing that thumbs up button and subscribing to Touchdowns to Home Runs. But of course, with the first pick in the NBA draft, it is the Detroit Pistons. Last week, they won the NBA draft lottery in a little bit of a surprise, but Detroit Pistons fans have a lot to be looking forward to. And I think they're going to be going with Cade Cunningham. No real surprise here. He's a 6'8" guard out of Oklahoma State. And I always said that really no matter who drafts in this first overall position, it's got to be this type of generational talent, and that's what Cade Cunningham is. 20.1 points per game last year, 6.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, had a bunch of accolades. He was the fourth freshman ever to win Big 12 Player of the Year. Freshman of the Year, he was a consensus All-American. But Cade Cunningham, really his play style begins with his size. He's got tremendous size. Not really flashy dribble moves that you see from point guards nowadays, but he uses that size to create some versatility on the offensive side of the basketball, allows him to see over defenders. He's a pretty good passer as well. Really high basketball IQ, and that length allows him to guard like 3-4 positions. So he's got a lot of defensive versatility potential as well. I mean, he really is a generational player in my opinion. And yeah, I think that the Detroit Pistons will take Cade Cunningham, will stay in the number 1 spot, and he's going number 1. So let me just lock that in actually. Draft player. So next up, of course, we have the Houston Rockets went into the draft lottery with the best odds to get the number 1 pick. They only fell down to number 2. And I think there's a little bit of a debate here between Evan Mobley, possibly Jalen Green as well. I know that a lot of people now who have really started to do some research into the NBA draft like what they see from Jalen Green and his really potential and ability to score the basketball. But that being said, I like Evan Mobley at the number 2 spot. 7-foot power forward and center from USC. Pretty much the only guy that gives you immediate impact in terms of size at the center or power forward position. Last year, averaged 16.4 points per game, 8.7 boards, 2.4 assists, 2.9 blocks. Pretty much the best two-way player in this draft. Really no question about it. He's a natural rim protector, tremendous jumping ability. He's a great inside player, but can actually give you some versatility from the perimeter and shooting from there as well. The only reason that there was no real discussion with him sort of pushing that number 1 position, he's got some attitude issues, some effort on the court sometimes. But again, I think when he reaches the NBA level, that's something that's going to change. And again, him being the only immediate impact player at center, I think is massive for some teams. So yeah, Evan Mobley at number 2. Next up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers, and here I like Jalen Green. Again, I said that it could be really either way, Jalen Green, Mobley, in some way at 2-3, although I would love one of them to fall down to my Toronto Raptors. But yeah, Jalen Green, phenomenal scorer. He's a 6'6" guard, played last year in the G League. So he does have some experience against, I guess, some better competition, if you will. Averaged 17.9 points per game, 4.1 boards, 2.8 assists, and 1.5 steals. And I think, yeah, second best scorer, maybe arguably the best scorer in the draft, basically scores from anywhere on the court, has tremendous range. Got pretty good size as well that's filling out, so he's gaining a little bit more strength. I think that'll create even more versatility, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Extremely explosive, tremendous athlete, got great body control, hits contested shots, finishes around the rim, and really only needs limited space to get shots off, which is something that's definitely transferable to the NBA. Great hustle player, gives you a lot of hustle on defense, creates some potential there as well, and is a pretty solid perimeter defender. So Jalen Green drafting. Now, this is really the first pick I think that has a little bit up in the air, although I know a lot of Raptors fans want Jalen Suggs, and I think that's the way the Raptors will go as well. 6'4" point guard from Gonzaga. 14.4 points per game last year, 5.3 boards, 4.5 assists, and 1.9 steals. But especially with Lowry potentially not returning to the Raptors, you got a lot of guards, a surplus of guards. Malachi Flynn leading the way, Fred VanVleet, of course, there as well. But really a surplus of guards. But what I think is really good about Jalen Suggs is he gives you sort of that leadership that I think the Raptors are going to need in that young core. Can impact you on both sides of the basketball. Tremendous athleticism and speed that helps him on fast breaks. Can blow by defenders, even in the half court, which is super impressive. He reads the game well. He's a very solid passer, decisive, elusive with the ball. Exactly what you want from a point guard. Versatile. He's a great off-ball mover, which allows the Raptors to potentially use him at the number 2 position as well if they do draft him. And I think, that again, even though they do have a surplus of guards, I think Jalen Suggs fits right in there, especially since you can use him at the 1 or the 2. So yeah, I'm going Jalen Suggs for the Raptors. Next up, we got the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic are an interesting team because obviously Gordon, Vucevic, they've moved in the past little while, and they're really a rebuilding team who really need to hit on a draft pick. So that being said, I think you go with the best player available, and I think they'll like what they get from Jonathan Kuminga, 6'8", small forward, power forward in the G League. And what I really like about this pick, especially being a small forward, I think Kuminga's a guy who could really impact the Magic right away. 15.8 points per game, 7.2 boards, 2.7 assists last year in the G League. And he's another extreme athlete who's essentially unstoppable around the rim, finishes through traffic with both hands, efficient shooter, even can extend a little bit out to the perimeter, although he's got to work on that. He can pass out of drives on defense, great ability to sort of time and be able to block shots. And I think, this is what the Magic need. A real impact guy at the small forward position, a guy who can impact the play on both sides of the basketball in a rebuilding team. Yeah, I think this would be a phenomenal pick for the Orlando Magic. Number 6 is the OKC Thunder. And this is a bit where it goes up in the air. I think more 7 to 10, but I think, people are really locked in at Scotty Barnes at number 6. And I would agree with that. What's really good about Scotty Barnes, the small forward out of Florida State, is that he's a bit of a project in that he's got such a high ceiling, but he's also a really good pick in that he can really be an immediate impact player. 10.3 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4.1 assists. He's versatile. He's got the strength, the power in his game. Allows him to attack the rim essentially like nobody else in the class, handles the ball well. He's a really intriguing prospect with the way he's able to defend as well, even multiple positions. Tremendous energy, nicely built frame. The only thing is he does have a bit of an inconsistent jump shot. Didn't have tremendous percentages, only 27.5% about from 3, 62 from the line, and 50% from the field. But again, he's still a guy who can make an immediate impact, but he's got a ceiling that I think can reach up to an NBA All-Star. So that's why I don't think you pass up on Scotty Barnes at number 6. Number 7, the Golden State Warriors, and I love Golden State being in this position because Golden State, the way that their team is built right now, getting Klay Thompson back next year, you still got Steph Curry, Draymond Green. It's a team that should, with a little bit of depth on the bench, be able to be in talks for Western Conference contention even as early as next year, as long as this team is healthy, which is why the Warriors can go 2 ways. You can take one where you go for an immediate impact player, or you have another option, assuming they don't trade out of this position, which is where, you're Golden State, you're like, okay, we have the pieces to win now. Let's take a little bit of a leap at a project. And that's why I love the Warriors pick. If they pick Keon Johnson, 6'5" shooting guard, small forward from Tennessee. 2020, 2021, average 11.3 points per game, 3.5 boards, and 2.5 assists. He's a fantastic guard that I think really works into the Warriors scheme. Even if he does, get some minutes off the bench. He does have some flaws though, especially offensively. He's a little bit with his shot inconsistent, which is something that he definitely needs to improve. But I mean, when you look at the raw talent, the raw athleticism, the tremendous athleticism, he set the vertical record in the NBA draft combine. There's a lot to like here, and a player who could be an extremely electric guy off the bench, I think. He's a great scorer off the dribble and off motion plays. He's a fantastic playmaker and a good rebounder for his size, and fairly active defender as well. I love Keon Johnson. He's my favorite draft prospect in this NBA draft. I think a lot to look forward to if you're the Warriors and you're drafting him at this position. So I'm going with Keon Johnson. Next up, we got the Orlando Magic again, and I like Davion Mitchell here. If you pick a small forward in the draft, I think you go with a guard. You know, you can't go any bigger than Kuminga if you pick him with your first pick. So I like picking a guard here. Davion Mitchell's a fantastic choice. 14 points per game, 5.5 assists, 2.7 rebounds, and 1.9 steals. Won Defensive Player of the Year last year for the Baylor Bears, and he's definitely one of the most NBA-ready prospects. An efficient scorer who had the third highest effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage among Power 5 guards, which is a tremendous accomplishment. He's very quick, great with his hands, great ball handler who can beat defenders one-on-one. He's a smart player who's overall, just makes some tremendous decisions. And as I said, he's tremendous on the defensive side of the ball, can force turnovers. He's a ready two-way player. And I think, the Orlando Magic would be getting a great player in Davion Mitchell. All right, number 9, we got the Sacramento Kings. And here is a little bit of a toss-up because I think the Kings will pick a small forward. It's just what small forward do they want, because you have a bunch of different options. And obviously the Kings already have a pretty good guard core, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and Marvin Bagley as one of their bigger guys. And assuming the Kings don't trade out of there, small forward is probably their biggest weakness. And you have options between Kispert, Jalen Johnson, Franz Wagner if you are drafting a small forward. But here I say they go Jalen Johnson, 6'9" small forward out of Duke. Didn't play all of the year with Duke. He ended up withdrawing, or he ended up preparing from the NBA draft, opting out of the college basketball season to recover a lingering foot injury in order to prepare for the draft. But when he did play, he was fantastic. 11.2 points per game, 6.1 boards, 2.2 assists, and 1.2 blocks and steals. He's athletic, versatile, has pretty solid athleticism. Not the greatest three-point shooter, but did shoot 44% on 18 attempts in his limited time in college. He's lengthy, versatile on the defensive side of the ball, uses the size well to force turnovers. He's a very good finisher at the rim, has great speed and strength, makes him solid when driving. He's a great downhill player. He's also a pretty good ball handler and passer, especially when taking into consideration his body type. So Jalen Johnson is my guy for this pick. And then the last pick that we're going to be going over in this video is for the New Orleans Pelicans, and I like Corey Kispert here. I think same way. I think you're picking a small forward at this position, so it'd be between Kispert or Franz Wagner. But I think Franz Wagner is a little too much of a project, and that's coming from a Michigan Wolverines fan. But Corey Kispert, he's a winner, 6'7" forward from Gonzaga, averaged 18.6 points per game last year. A tremendous shooter, 44% from three, 88% from the line, 53% from the field. He's a mature player who's played 4 years at college. And again, he's really developed his game, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Strong ball handler, can score from essentially anywhere on the court. Strong, he can finish at the rim, great off-ball mover, seems like he works really, really well with his teammates, which is tremendous at the NBA level. Overall winner, he's got some individual accolades as well, strong rebounder, really plays the game of basketball well. And if you're looking for an all-around player at the number 10 position, I mean, this could potentially be a steal. So Corey Kispert rounding out our draft. Where's Kispert? There he is. And there it is. All right, so there's our top 10. If you guys want to see me do some more picking, mock draft, that type of thing in the future, let me know. If you want to see me maybe break down some potential picks of a specific team, let me know down in the comment section below. But if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to Touchdowns to Home Runs for more content just like this. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.